How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the top 5 fastest hot hatches that you can buy that would pretty much take on a supercar around a track. And the track specifically that I'm interested in is the Nurburgring. Having driven the track once before, I pretty much know that it is one of the most diverse and difficult tracks that you can possibly take a car around. And even though the Top Gear boys and many other people have mentioned the fact that you can't test how good a car is simply at the Nurburgring, it's quite a good way of understanding how good that car is around a track. Irrespective, I do a lot of videos on older cars. In this one I thought, why not have a look at some new cars, some new hot hatches that are actually quite quick. I'll give you the price, the specs, the reliability, all that good stuff, and you can let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Topic of the week this week, something that I want you to comment on down below. In your opinion, are old school hatchbacks or new school hatchbacks cooler? So I'm talking hot hatches like the 205 T16, the old Golf GTI, etc. versus the newer Golf Rs and the A45 AMGs, etc. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram for more Cars with JB content. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we get into the top 5, I thought it was worth giving a special mention to the 2013 to 2018 Mercedes AMG A45, which is very much slower around the ring than the other cars in this list, but a strong contender for hot hatch glory in the modern era regardless. It has a 2-litre inline-4 turbocharged engine putting out 354 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in just 4.5 seconds, quicker than any car on this list thanks to its 7-speed sports transmission and all-wheel drive system. It also comes with some pretty high-spec stuff for the avid hatchback fan, like independently developed front and rear axles, AMG sports suspension and performance braking system, and light alloy wheels. Apparently the A45 engine also puts out the same specific output per litre as the Bugatti Chiron, which is pretty nuts. Shame that it's still 4 seconds slower around the Nürburgring than any other car on this list, and that it's incredibly expensive at around 50 grand for a decent spec brand new. Hopefully we'll see a greater dip in prices for second-hand A45s though, as the 2020 A45S joins the scene, as they're currently sitting strong at around the £20,000 mark. The reason why I would get one of these would be for the interior, as it's very comfortable and a lavish place to be. Maybe the weight of all this luxury is what stops the car from being a top performer on track, but from a day-to-day perspective you'll likely be much happier in this AMG. Anyway, enough faff, though I'd love to mention the RS3 in this list. It's even slower than the Merc, so let's get on to the top 5. Starting the list off at number 5, we have the Mark III Ford Focus RS, which ran the Nürburgring in just over 8 minutes and 6 seconds. It has the 2.3-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine found in the Mustang, but producing 350 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in around 4.6 seconds. It has all-wheel drive, as all Ford Focus RSs should in my opinion, and comes with a controversial industry-first drift mode that controls drifts for you to an extent. The RS comes with a nice-looking aero package and body kit, as well as upgraded suspension and brakes as you might expect. Of course, the RS badge denotes the car's rallying pedigree, and Hoonigan Racing Division fielded 2 of these RSs in the 2016 and 2017 FIA World Rallycross Championships, with Ken Block, renowned for his Gymkhana abilities, behind the wheel of one of them and Andreas Backerud in the other. So when you own the RS, you know it's got that bit of rallying potential, though of course with a lot of modifications. Speaking of Ken Block, the Focus RS also appears in Gymkhana 10, so it's a pretty famous car given that video has almost 23 million views. Price is brand new in 2019 starts at around 31 grand, and a decent second-hand example will cost you around about £23,000, so prices haven't dived too badly on these just yet. I was hoping I wouldn't have to talk too much about reliability in this video, as the cars I'm talking about are generally new, but I would just caution that some of the older Focus RSs from this generation have had leaking head gaskets on the engines. A plume of white smoke on startup is a telltale sign that it may be the case for your car, so if you're looking for one, just do a quick check for your own well-being longer term. I really like this RS and I'm very glad it's all-wheel drive. Other than the Merc, it's the quickest car on this list too. My only real problem with it is that it should really be hitting much faster lap times around the ring due to its all-wheel drive layout, as every other car beating it on this list has front-wheel drive, so it should be at a slight disadvantage when it comes to traction. That said, it's still lapping the ring faster than the Mustang GT, Honda NSX and the E60 BMW M5. In fourth we have the Mark III Seat Leon CUPRA, which back in 2014 had the front-wheel drive record around the Nürburgring at just over 7 minutes and 58 seconds, faster than the Dodge Viper SRT10, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage and the original R8. The Performance Pack edition used to set the record hosts a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine, putting out 276 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in around 5.5 seconds. That Performance Pack edition just gives it the Brembo performance brakes and the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres, which was all available from factory. This was actually the first front-wheel drive car to get below 8 minutes round the ring, helped significantly by its mechanical locking diff that allows the power to actually be put to the ground. The car also sits on the VW MQB platform, the same as cars like the Mark 7 Golf and the Audi A3, as is usually the way with VW cars, but just an interesting point to note considering it's over 15 seconds faster than the RS3. Without the performance pack, the Leon CUPRA actually has some pretty bad reviews, as it is renowned for chewing through front tyres, and not providing the necessary grip if you wanted to take it to track days. The performance pack used to set the Nurburgring record theoretically sorts this issue out, but added in an additional $2,000 to the standard CUPRA price of around £27,000, so cheaper than the Focus and faster too. Second hand, a decent example will set you back around 13 to 15k, so not awful for the performance. Most of the common faults of the car are also pretty chill too, like rear lights cracking and leaking due to poor fitment, wheel nut caps falling off, and the diamond cut wheels peeling. The entertainment system can also sometimes struggle on startup, but it's fine once the car's warmed up. All in all, a super quick hot hatch, but do be wary of the tyres. On to the top 3 now, and in third we have the VW Golf GTI Club Sport S, which lapped the ring in a stunning 7 minutes and 49 seconds, 25 seconds faster than the all-wheel drive Golf R, and a second faster than the 997.1 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. It's a super limited version of the GTI Club Sport, with 306 brake horsepower coming from its 2-litre inline-4 turbocharged engine, which takes it from 0 to 60 in around 5.7 seconds. Again, incredibly rapid for a front-wheel drive car like this, and it briefly held the lap record for front-wheel drive cars at the ring. The car is clearly track focused, with the rear seats removed for weight saving, though reviews mention it's still dailyable as long as you only have one friend. There are just 400 Club Sport S models, and in the UK we were lucky enough to get 150 of them. Interestingly, VW decided to only provide the manual gearbox with no option for the DSG manual dual clutch auto box, even though the DSG normally gets a quicker 0 to 60. I would speculate that this was potentially to further reduce weight, as if it's anything like the Golf R, the DSG weighs about 20 kilograms more than the manual. There's a focus on aerodynamics too, with the new bumpers to reduce front end drag and a spoiler that provides stability. As an overall, the car is made to have a neutral and stable feel, which is pretty ideal for consistent lap times. On a more flaky note, one of my favourite things about this car is the GTI trimmed Recaro bucket seats. I'd love a set of them in my car for sure. Brand new, the super rare Club Sport S started at just over 30 grand, and of course, as investment pieces in and of themselves, they are still going for overs, with the cheapest I could find at £31,000 with 9k on the clock, but ranging all the way up to 40k. Still not awful when you consider the prices of some of the other non-limited cars in this list. The only point I'd mention on reliability is that the high performance Mark 7 manual Golfs have been known to have clutch issues, so though this isn't necessarily attributable to the Club Sport S, it's a point to be aware of. Overall though, this is a promising shout for anyone looking to get into a properly quick hot hatch that can dominate on a track. It would be very difficult to make a hot hatch video without including it, so in second we have the 5th generation Honda Civic Type R, aka the FK8, which is based on the 8th generation Civic. This is another previous front wheel drive record holder at 7 minutes and 43 seconds, faster than a Lamborghini Murcielago LP640, an SLS AMG, and even a more recent Audi R8. It's literally 0.15 of a second off the Nissan GTR. Absolutely incredible performance for a front-wheel drive hatchback. It hosts a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine putting out 316 brake horsepower in European spec and does 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, much of a muchness when compared with the other cars on this list. What you get with the FK8 Type R is a hot hatch that has really done its best to take from the racing world. Carbon fibre all over the place, including the splitter, interior, side skirts and diffuser. Deep Recaro bucket seats in a low driving position with a high gear lever for easier shifting of that close ratio manual gearbox, with a limited slip diff as standard, and who could miss that massive rear wing, which has real aerodynamic impact along with the other features mentioned to keep this car stuck to the track. The car has been very highly praised by automotive journalists, especially when compared with its FK2 predecessor, not only for its trackability, but also for its practicality and comfort when driving. I mean, it literally has 5 doors and 4 seats still. The car received Top Gear magazine's and What Car's Hot Hatch of the Year award in 2017, and was voted International Editor's Choice and Overall Car of the Year 2017. On top of this, at the time of making this video, Dan Camish is sitting 3rd in the British Touring Car Championship in a tracked version of the Type R, and his team, Halford's Yuasa Racing, is top of the team championship, so this car really does have racing prowess. If this whets your appetite, prices new start at just over £31,000 for a base spec, but second hand you can get a decent one for around £25,000. It's also a generally reliable car, with owners only complaining about the crunch between first and second gear, which Honda suggests isn't actually an issue with with the car, but worth being mindful of regardless. Either way, not bad for a hatchback that can beat the ring in such a quick time. Taking the top spot, we have this absolute beast of a hot hatch, the Renault Megane RS Trophy R, which recently did a time of 7 minutes and 40 seconds around the ring, smashing cars like the Gallardo Superleggera, 997.2 Turbo S, Murcielago Superveloce, and the new electric Porsche Taycan as well. It's actually only 0.1 of a second off the time shared by the Veyron and SLR McLaren, which is a joke for a little hatchback. Imagine driving around in your £2 million Veyron feeling super smug about life when this dude in a 50 grand Megane RS comes blasting past you. It has a 1.8 litre inline-4 turbocharged engine putting out 300 brake horsepower and taking it from 0 to 60 in around 5.3 seconds, which is super quick for a front wheel drive car. What's interesting about this car is price. As only 500 are being produced and just 32 of them are destined for the UK, you've got 3 variants to choose from, starting with the base model, which is pretty mad in and of itself for £51,000, which comes with Olin shock absorbers, an Akrapovic exhaust, Brembo brakes, and a carbon bonnet. For £63,000 you can get the carbon wheel pack, which obviously adds carbon alloys. But for almost £73,000 you can get the Nurburgring Record Pack Edition, which is the same spec as the car that set the record around the ring, which means carbon ceramic brakes and a straight feed dynamic air intake. And though that sounds sick, £73,000 is a lot of money for a Renault hatchback, so you either have to be a die-hard Renault fan or a racer, or maybe both. Or maybe just insanely wealthy to the point that £73,000 is just pocket change to you. Whatever it is, that's some insane money. Of course, all models also come with some great developments by Renault's partners, like the lightweight bucket seats and track-focused Bridgestone tyres, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm still thinking about whether I could ever spend that kind of money on a car like this, when I could probably just buy an actual track car for a lot less than that, especially when views say that this is one of the least practical cars when it comes to ownership. That said, this video is about destroying the track, and the Megane does this incredibly well, so a well-deserved top spot in this list. So in this video I run you through 5 of the fastest hot hatches, as well as a bonus car in the A45 AMG, because I don't think you can make a fastest hot hatches video without including that car. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously the 5 cars that I've chosen are the 5 fastest hot hatches around the ring at this point in time, so depending on when you watch this video, might be a slightly different hot hatch right at the top. I want to say a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters. It means a lot. It's crazy to have you guys on board. Obviously remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram because I am posting every single day, which I am gassed about. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.